So today we're going to talk about bike accessories. How can you personalize or upgrade your e-bike, or any bike for that matter of fact, cheaply and easily, bit of DIY kind of thing as well, to actually sort of make it more usable or just make it a bit more you. Let's have a shifty. So we've got a couple of bikes here which I have personalized and customized, and we're going to talk about how I did it and also talk about what actually I've gained by each change, or why I did each change. So first of all, let's talk about these big donuts, tyres. So if you look at the tyre tread on that, and then look at the tyre tread on the ones that you get with it, you'll see that the standard ones from the factory, they're okay, they're a medium tyre, they create a little bit of noise going down the road, but overall for me, they don't offer that much grip in all the different surfaces. Whereas these are far more like a motorbike tyre, far more rugged and far better off-road. So that was one of the first things that I upgraded on this bike, which was the one that I've been riding around for the last year or so, was to change the tyres over from the standard factory tyres to these tyres. And that was about a £40 upgrade and took more time to do the rear than the front, but in total, if you allow yourself about 40 minutes, that's more than enough time. For me, the reduced road noise and the added grip off-road made that perfectly worthwhile. Along with the fantastic tyres, I do recommend this Muck Off inner tube sealant, puncture repair stuff. So if you get a thorn, for example, I've had a thorn in the tyre, pull the thorn out, this stuff oozes out and seals it instantly. But let me show you how it's fitted. I swear by this stuff, absolutely brilliant. Really tried and tested, even on people's bikes that have come up to me saying, I've got a puncture, can you fix it? And just drop some of this in, spin the tyre around, and yeah, then inflate it, and no more puncture. So yeah, we're going to drop this in there. So I'm going to show you how you fit it to this new bike that I'm using, and also demonstrate this new pump, sort of a little battery operated pump from Psych Plus. So it comes with these little accessories as well, like a charger and all that other stuff. And obviously if you can't get access to the valve that way, then you've got this little adapter as well. So there are two variants of these pumps. One is obviously the max version, which is this one, and yeah, pretty good pumps really. Obviously battery operated, battery charged. Simply just sort of like press and hold the top there to power it on. Select the PSI that you, the screen doesn't flash by the way in real life. But yeah, select the PSI that you want to inflate to, and then just press the button. So the first thing we're going to need is this little bugger, and that is to remove the valve from there to let all the air out. So start off by removing the valve. I've put the valve to the bottom to do this. So once you unscrew the top of the bottle, the tube pulls out from the middle. You then put the tube around the outside of the valve and then just screw it around the thread of the valve to get it sealed on there. I then give it a couple of good squeezes, and if you hold it this way, obviously it's going to flow into the inner tube. So once you give it a couple of good squeezes, take it off, then put the valve back in the tyre to make sure that's all nice and tight again. Then give them a quick spin so all that gunk gets all the way around the inner tube, and then it's a simple fact of inflate the tyre. So I've just paused this mid-inflation. It's got a bit of pressure in there, but not a lot, just to make sure that the tyre's sat on the bead correctly, because this top bit here wasn't exactly sat correctly in that bead, so within the rim there. So I'm just going to squidge the tyre around, make sure as I'm re-inflating it that it's all nice and square in there, and then yeah, re-inflate it now. So these are 30 psi. Now the front's done, it's time to do the back. Exactly the same process. Remove the valve, put the valve at the bottom, insert the gunk. Obviously minor adjustments to the placement of the wheel may be necessary, but as you can see here, it was just probably the fact that I could have done it from the other side, but camera angle and all that kind of stuff So yeah, bit fiddly, but got it all done. Got the right amount of gunk in there, put the valve back inside, and inflated the tyre back to the desired PSI. Obviously once it's there, spin the tyre or spin the wheel again, so all the gunk gets around, so it's all ready for action. Yeah, just wanted to point out as well that this little battery tyre inflator did this 2 sets of tyres deflation, and the other one just a bit of sort of adjustment as well. And yeah, it still had half a charge left, so pretty cool. I'll link to all these things down in the video description down below, obviously, so you can get your own if you like it. This is a nice little manual pump which does both types of valves on there, the Schrader valve and the high pressure valve. And I also have this in my van as well, which is a battery operated pump. And that does the same thing with different sort of valve ends on as well. It's always worth carrying a spare inner tube as well, just in case you do slash an inner tube or maybe rip the valve stem off or something like that. Now you'll see again on this one that I've put some bags on the front to give me some more sort of load capacity, carrying drinks. So that's a drink carrier there. Put your bottle of drink in there. It's actually lined as well, so should keep it cooler or warmer, whichever way you want to do it. And then this on the front allows you to carry extra tools maybe, or just extra things that you're cycling out and you just carried a few extra things there, and those fit in there and don't really get in the way of anything else whatsoever. So while we're talking about bags, there's this nice under seat bag as well. Again, just a little bit sort of pouch inside there, and that is actually enough to carry this little toolkit. So that's a bike toolkit with some tools there, some tyre levers, a valve sort of extraction tool, some puncture repair patches, and I also carry my Leatherman with me as well in that pouch, and those sit under there, and that's quite a nice little toolkit to carry around, and that's like a nice little bag that it all fits in. And while we're talking about bags, this is quite a cool bag as well. So you can bungee strap it to the back rack or something like that, or just hang it from the front, whatever you want to do. And that is a rucksack with quite a decent capacity as well. Don't think it actually states on it, but yeah, it's quite a big rucksack, quite a decent capacity, and that's good to carry around if you're on your way to the shops or anything like that. I've had a full pack of beer and everything in there before. Obviously that's one way of carrying all your stuff back. That's another way of carrying all your stuff back as well. Get some straps or bungee cords or whatever, but then there's also that option. Get some panniers. So really easy panniers to install there. They just clip onto mud guards or part of the frame or whatever, clip them out of the way, and you get loads more storage in the back, and also you still get the option of putting something on the top still. Security is one thing as well that you can't forget about with these bikes. I went for the best chain that was on offer. It's actually for a motorbike. Yes, I know that they can carry a still saw with them these days and just go through that in seconds, but at least it offers a degree of sort of visual representation that I have tried my best to secure the bike. Another useful accessory if you are doing long distance stuff or road cycling is to have a mirror. You can mount this on the handlebar or wherever you want. There's many different ways to mount it there. It'll literally mount to any sort of like cylindrical part of your bike, but yeah, you can either mount it that way or you can mount it over the top, so it does you that way. Underneath seems to be quite an easy way to do it. Nice little thing to see what's going on behind you, and very inexpensive as well, and really good for safety. And speaking of safety, obviously the better thing for safety is to be seen. So we've got different ways to be seen from these reflective straps that you can put around your clothing, and then obviously you can wear a high-vis belt, so that goes around your body and gives you a lot of visibility to other road users. But ultimately safety is all about you as well, and yeah, helmets are a big thing of that one. So I've had this one now for a couple of weeks, but yeah, really good. So you've even got a little flashy lights on the back there, so it can be seen from the rear at night, and you've got a light on the front, and you've got an option of putting a peak cap on there as well. So, and you've got an adjustable bit at the back, so they're quite good. Nice comfy bit inside, and that's rechargeable for the lights as well, so it's easy to recharge. And one thing I like about that particular one over the other ones that I've used is they're rated for a higher speed, because they understand e-bikes go faster. So some cycle helmets are only sort of like rated to a knock of about 15 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour. Then you've got sort of BMX off-road helmets like I've had in the past, which are rated to about 18 miles an hour, whereas this one's rated to 28 miles an hour. So if you are sort of tanking along, you know, you're enjoying yourself and you have a fall, then you want a helmet that is absolutely rated for the type of speeds and everything that you're doing. So yeah, quite happy about that one. They do them in different sizes and colours as well. And obviously if you want to stop all the bugs getting in, there's a buff put around your neck and your face. And then gloves as well. So summer gloves and then winter gloves with a bit of extra grippy bit on the inside, and little controls as well on the fingertips so you can use phones. So yeah, to have those type of accessories to help you safely navigate the roads, you know, whether it's coming off and making sure that you don't damage your hands or damage your head, or just to be more visible, see more of what's going on the road, or not swallowing loads of bugs as you're driving down the road. High vis and all those type of safety stuff is really good too. Now this bike came with hydraulic brakes. A lot of them do come with disc brakes now, and again this is all to do with the weight of an e-bike. You need a more efficient way to stop them rather than just using the rim brakes like a normal bike has. However, there's two different types of disc brakes. There's hydraulic, which is these type, and cable operated mechanical type. And hydraulic are far more efficient. They're much like the brakes on your car. So it uses hydraulic fluid in these pipes to compress the pistons in there to give you a really good brake. And this one uses cable operated brakes, as you can see there. So there's a cable and that squeezes them together, and yeah, it's not quite as efficient. So what I did via these X-Tech upgrades was converted it so that this is a hydraulic brake system operated by cable. So this cable pushes in a piston in there, which then compresses the hydraulic fluid, which then squeezes the pads together. So it's a bit of a hybrid, but it was an easier way to upgrade this bike to give it hydraulic brakes and yeah, just basically get more braking power, get more stopping power. That was an easy upgrade. That took around about 20 minutes, and those were about 45 quid. Much easier than it would be to replace all the cables with hydraulic pipes, the hydraulic fluid, everything else, throughout all the frame of the bike and all the cable system, including changing the brake levers, which also, don't forget, this is an e-bike, so they have an extra cable on them as well, like that, which allows the brake light to come on, and also it knows that when you press the brake lever, it knows to stop the motor. So that's actually a little micro switch in there. So if you think about that, I'd have to get specialized e-bike hydraulic brake system, change everything over, do all that, make sure they were the right length, whereas the easiest thing is to just change that. Now another upgrade, which I didn't do at the time, another upgrade is to change the discs to bigger discs. These are 160mm, you can go up to 180mm quite easily, and again they just unbolt these little bolts there, then change it and you just get a different mount that mounts it further out. And that's an easy upgrade as well, but I tried this stage first because it was the simplest, and yeah, that's worked fine, and that upgrade really does make a huge difference, because you've got to imagine this is a 40kg bike with me on top of it coming down hills. You want some degree of safety, confidence it's going to stop, and by changing the hydraulic brakes front and back, that's what it's done. So yeah, quite happy with that one. So I made some other upgrades to this bike, which I rode up and down all sorts of different hills and kind of mountains, and that was the rear cassette, the rear gears. This one is a 7-speed Shimano gear set, and what I did with this one, because I didn't find the range of gears good enough, so for example if I was going down the flat or going downhill, I found that my pedals were just kind of like spinning out of control after about 22 miles an hour. So I put this on to help with that, So the gear is much smaller on the long gear there. So that means I can get around about 28 miles an hour before my feet start to spin away. And I've also changed the first gear so that that gets me up hills much better now. The other one I found I needed more electrical assistance to get up hills, whereas with this one now I can get up hills no problem whatsoever. So that's what the standard gear set looks like, and then that is the upgraded one, which you can see there is the bigger ring. The first gear ring is much bigger, and then the other ones are staggered down further, so that the 7th gear, the lower gear, is much smaller, and that's what makes that change to the gears then. So that's quite a good representation to see it. And to change this, it's very simple. Basically take the wheel off. There's a special tool that goes in the middle here, which there's a locking nut in there. That releases it. Then simply just sort of unscrew it, and you see the threads there. It screws to the hub, and then yeah, screw the new one on, tighten it up, put the wheel back on, and you're done. So that upgrades around about sort of 10-15 minutes once you've taken the wheel off. Nice and simple. And I did find that the standard tourney system and chain and everything like that, when I upgraded it on that bike, it still did the job. I didn't have to put extra links in, and it didn't stretch it out any further. So that worked fine too. Now, not all bikes have full suspension. This has got no suspension on the rear, but a good bit of suspension on the front. Now, fair enough, the fat tyres do allow for a lot of absorption of the road and the noise and all that kind of stuff, but a little bit of suspension on the rear is really nice. For example, that's got rear suspension, and it soaks up all the bumps, even though it's got the fat tyres, really well. And it's got a standard seat on there. So an easy upgrade is this Zoom shock absorbing seat post, which allows it to compress down, which I can't do now. Once you sit on it, you can do though. It compresses down and ultimately takes the shocks, all the bangs and everything out potholes of the back, so you don't feel it in your tush. The Zoom seat post is really good. It comes with another collar that goes around there. So if the actual seat post stem is too wide, then you can put the collar on, and that then just clamps round and stops it in place. But yeah, those are inexpensive as well, and take minutes to fit. And speaking of seat posts, the standard seat post might not be enough, so you can actually get longer seat posts as well, and different types of seats and different ways that they connect. This is just showing a seat bag, worthwhile carrying as well. But yeah, different types of seats and seat posts. And that seat has actually got like a little light adapter that plugs into the back if you want to get it. I'll go over lights in a minute. But yeah, there's different choices of seats and seat posts to get the ride height and everything you want. For example, that's more of a sort of racing seat, quite slim and slender. And this one, which is what I prefer, it's a bit more comfy on the bum, and it's got that sort of air pit in it there as well, so the air comes in and gives your nether regions a little bit of a cooling effect as you whiz down the road. I think it's quite nice that they're doing these sort of palm rest grips now. They're quite nice, they're comfortable, they make longer riding journeys more comfortable anyway, I find. But you can upgrade those as well, so you can go for something like this, which is the same palm grip, but it's actually got the bar end version on it as well. So it means you can actually use it like that, which sometimes if I'm on a long stretch, I just want to put my hands out the way. I don't want to rest them anymore that way. So I find the little bar ends with the vertical grip a very worthwhile upgrade. And again, they're easy to change. They either just simply just come off, or like these, there's a little collar around there and a little clamp around that bit as well. And that simply just clamps tight at both ends, and then means it's nice and solid there. Easy upgrade, and like I say, 10-15 quid, something like that. Or if you want to go for the retro style, the standard style, then they do them as well. Like I say, you've got the clamps on the end there, you can see now they clamp down, and you've got the clamps that end. So yeah, they're quite good. Easy to install as well. And I guess one of the final things to talk about as a responsible cyclist anyway, is the ability to let people know that you're coming through. It's quite good. Like these little Engwe manual bells that kind of throw the sound forward a little bit. Or you got the other one, which is where the horn is built into the light, and they sound a bit like that. So yeah, it's entirely up to you, but I do think A way to let people know that you're coming is a good thing to do when you're cycling, because these are big bikes. E-bikes can go fast, people don't hear them that well. You'll probably find you're doing at least 10-12 miles an hour, if not more, and you can come across people quite quickly that way. So the ability to just let them know what's going on is good too. And so is lights as well. Obviously, to talk about lights, these have got built-in lights, front and rear, like that. But sometimes you don't, and that's what I was talking about this before. So these are just clip-on rear lights. This one's quite good. It's got 3 LEDs that you can see there, but it's also got laser projectors down at the bottom too, and they put lines on the road to kind of like make it obvious as to there's something on the road people need to avoid. So that's quite a good feature as well. Do like that one. Like I say, that just clips onto your seat post. So a little bit about maintenance. Like I say, you've got these tool kits with all sorts of different tools and repair kits, and I carry that as well. Also about maintenance, make sure that you do make sure everything's greased correctly. So crank grease and all that kind of stuff, and bearing grease. And make sure that you do oil your chain if your bike has a chain quite regularly and clean it up. So I hope you've liked my little video about the accessories you can easily fit to your bike, maybe ones that you've not spotted already, and maybe ones that you think, yeah, that'll make my cycling experience that more comfortable or safer or enjoyable. Then yeah, check out the video description down below, and that is going to have all the links to everything that I've shown in here, to, like, you know, the bike pumps, the tires, the sort of tool kits, you know, the handlebar, grips, all that kind of stuff is all going to be linked in the video description down below. So before you ask me, John, where do I get one of them? Check in the video description down below, and all the links will be in there to where you can buy them. If you've got anything that you think should be on this list that I've not covered, then obviously mention that down below as well, and I'll look into it. So thanks for watching. Take care, folks. See you later. Bye.